Hello friends, Majbin here. Welcome to my channel Class Remotely. Today I am going to talk about the impact of the French Revolution. However, if you want to know what actually caused the French Revolution, I would recommend you to watch two of my previously uploaded videos. One is on Louis XVI and the other is on his Queen Marie Antoinette. The links are on the description below. And now, let's get started with today's topic. The French Revolution is one of the most significant events in the history of the world. This revolution changed French society forever. It showed the world that a monarchy could be replaced by a constitutional government. Modern day ideas about equality of all people in the eyes of the law and individual freedom as freedom of speech or of religious belief date back to the French Revolution. It was due to this revolution that the French got rid of feudalism and changed their form of government from a monarchy to a republic. The French formed a new constitution which was based on the principles of equality and freedom. The impact of this revolution was so huge that this is perhaps the only revolution that transformed the world more than any other revolution. Moreover, this rebellion changed the path of modern history in such a way that globally absolute monarchies began to decline. Republics and liberal democracies now replaced these monarchies. The ideas of equality, liberty, and brotherhood inspired people everywhere. Another important idea which inspired the people was that power does not lie with monarchs but with the people of the country. Possibly the biggest impact or outcome of the French Revolution was that several revolutions followed this one during the 19th and 20th centuries when people all over the world began to fight for their rights. It was because of the French Revolution that France became a democratic republic. The French Revolution marked an end of the despotic rule of the monarchy in France. France was no longer a kingdom, for it did not have any king or queen. The country became a democratic republic. The sovereign power, which earlier rested with the king, now got transferred to the people of France. Another important impact of the French Revolution was that it led to a change in land ownership in France. The large estates controlled by the church and nobility were now broken up due to the French Revolution. The rural part of France now primarily became a land of small independent farms belonging to the peasants. The land taxes, which had been a huge burden on the farming community, were now abolished. The French Revolution gave to the country a new ruling class of landowners. Another significant impact of the French Revolution was that there was loss in power of the French Catholic Church. Before the French Revolution, Catholicism had been the official religion in France, and the French Catholic Church was very powerful. It owned around 10% of the land of France. It also earned teeths. These teeths were 1/10 of the earnings of the common people. These teeths had been taken by the French king to support the clergy. Due to the French Revolution, the church lost most of its power. With the abolition of the monarchy, the church also lost most of its lands. Religion also no longer played as important a role as it had done in France before the revolution. Another important impact of the French Revolution was that sovereignty and nationalism were now emphasized upon. In Europe, France became the first country to develop as a nation state. The French Revolution instilled a sense of patriotism or nationalism in the people. The revolution not only impacted French nationalism but also had a deep and long-lasting effect on European intellectuals. It was due to the French Revolution that struggle for national liberation became one of the most important themes of the 19th and 20th century European and world politics. The French Revolution inspired nationalist movements in Europe and beyond. The French Revolution influenced not just France. The ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity influenced nationalist or freedom movements in many other parts of the world. Many European countries now began to have conflicts and unrest as their populations fought to assert their rights against the often autocratic rulers of their states. As a result, an age of revolutions began to be ushered in. Significant revolutionary movements occurred in many parts of Europe and the Americas. These included the Irish Revolution of 1798, the Haitian Revolution, the First Italian War of Independence, Sicilian Revolution of 1848, the 1848 revolutions in Italy, and the independence movements of Spanish and Portuguese colonies in Latin America. Well, that's all for today. Do check out the description below for the notes. Subscribe if you haven't already. Meet you again very soon. Bye.